live on all platforms. We are keying up all the different platforms. We are beginning to go live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. We are about to go live. I know I keep on saying Twitter. That's by mistake. Actually, we are going live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch. Let's see where else. Periscope. And for those of you who don't know, Periscope is a great platform to go live on as well. So we are ready. We are streaming, and we are now live and in the house, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being on this broadcast this morning. This beautiful, I do mean beautiful, Saturday morning in Baltimore, Maryland. I got a lot of great content for you guys. A lot of you have already sent in your questions. And for those of you who want to know how you can get your questions already good, ready to go, just send them over to charles@realdealmeetup.com. That's charles@realdealmeetup.com if you want your question answered live. Also, if you're on the broadcast and you can hear me, let's do a sound check. Let me know that you can hear me loud and clear. So give me a big, I can hear you, Mr. Mad Scientist. I can hear you. I hear you loud and clear. It would be greatly appreciated. You know how those actual audio technical gremlins are. Sometimes they're working, sometimes it's not working. So let's make sure you guys can hear me live on the broadcast. Eberk, thank you for being on the broadcast, who is coming in from Instagram. We have Princess, who came in from YouTube. Thank you for being on the broadcast. And we have a few of you guys already on Facebook as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being on the broadcast. Let me know if you hear the sound loud and clear. So today is a very special day. I know what you're saying. Well, every day is a very special day above ground. That's true. However, today, Kathy, thank you for being on the broadcast. Milton, thank you for being on the broadcast, tuning in from YouTube. Kathy, tuning in from Facebook. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being on the broadcast. Today is Little T, my son's birthday. So I want to first of all give a big shout out to Little T. Today is his birthday. He's 12 years old. We will be having some fun up in the air. So I want everybody to say, happy birthday, Little T. Your dads love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Now, Darian, thank you for being on the broadcast. I appreciate it. Thank you, Darian, for that sound check. I'm glad you can hear me. Let's start off by getting a little bit of information out of the way right now of what's happening with the Real Deal Meetup. For those of you the first time on this broadcast, it is sponsored and powered by yours truly, the Mad Scientist, Mrs. Mad Scientist Tammy Blair, and the entire Real Deal Meetup crew. Now, what is the Real Deal Meetup? The Real Deal Meetup is the second largest real estate investing meetup in the nation. We have over 8,000 members, and we meet every fourth Saturday of the month, live and in person. So I hope and wish that you guys can attend a Real Deal Meetup soon. Just head on over to therealdealmeetup.com to actually RSVP your attendance. That's at therealdealmeetup.com. We look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. Now, as far as getting a little bit of homework out of the way, we got a couple announcements we're going to make before we get into the question and answer session that we have lined up for you. Remember, if you have questions that you want to pre-submit to me, all you got to do is, one, you can put them on the broadcast right now and get those questions ready to be answered, and or you can email them to me at charles@realdealmeetup.com. That's charles@realdealmeetup.com. So first thing first, I'm not sure if you guys heard about it, but we are in the process of starting a new seasonal meetup. As you can see on the screen, that meetup is called the Baltimore REI Network Mixer. It is actually a mixer that's going to take place on the 4th Thursday of this month, May the 23rd, at the Lord Baltimore Hotel. It's going to be a fantastic event. I want you guys to head on over to Real Deal Meetup, and you'll be able to see this actual meetup we're going to have. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to have all the actual players, gamers, you name it, that are in the Maryland, D.C. investing community. Also business owners, entrepreneurs. It's going to be true networking throughout from 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. at the beautiful Sky Bar located at the Lord Baltimore Hotel. I look forward to seeing you guys. As you can see, it's already in Facebook events. It should be in Eventbrite by the end of today, and we should already have it on Meetup and so on. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. Secondly, thank you for tuning in. But this event would not be possible, or should I say this Q&A session would not be possible without your questions. So get those questions ready. Be prepared to really dig deep into the mind of the mad scientist. We already have some questions that were emailed to me earlier. I already see some questions right now that's posted from Instagram, also YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and Twitch. So let's go ahead and get your questions answered. Number one came from Jerome. Question number one is, is subject to investing legal? That's a very good question. And the best way I can answer that question is this. Absolutely, it's legal. There's nothing illegal about taking or doing a property and putting it into what you would call a trust. Because the process of a subject to is taking your property, homeowner taking a property, putting it into a trust, and then signing over the beneficiary interest of that trust. So that part, until you get to the signing over the beneficiary interest, is legal. Now, once you sign the property over into the beneficiary interest, then you're on shaky ground, because the Gone Saint Germain Act states that a homeowner can put their property in a trust for asset protection purposes. However, once you move that property from that beneficiary interest from the original homeowner to the investor, now you're getting on illegal shaky grounds. So the answer to the question is, technically, it's not legal. So do people still do subject tos? Absolutely they do. And it's all about the risk versus reward. What is the risk? The risk is this. The lender could find out that the property has been titled over to another individual and someone else is making the payments, and could call the loan due. That's the purpose of due on sale clause. That lender could actually say, we want you to pay all the money that's owed on this loan due right now. So, that's the risk. Now, what's the reward? The reward is subject tos are a great way to take control of properties without having to purchase the property, rehab, and sell. So you're able to take over properties with very little money out of your pocket. And you just have to come up with what I could call, you just have to come up with the amount of money you need for your actual repair costs. So, the question you have to ask yourself, okay, if that is the case, I have to come up with this situation where I'm now have to take over the property in the manner in which it's going to work best for my deals. Should I take it over subject to, or should I use another strategy, another approach? I would definitely say, and here's how I do it in my business. In my real estate business, if I'm doing a subject to deal, I'm only taking over subject to deals by way of short term holdings. And then I'm rehabbing and selling it. So, what do I call a short term holding or short term situation? What I mean by that is I'm only taking over that subject to for 3 to 6 months. I'm using that as a way to not have to buy or not have to close on the property to buy by using funding. I'm going to use the existing financing. And then within that 3 to 6 month period of time, I'm going to sell that property. Just in other words, the only way I would get into that deal is if I can get in quickly and get out quickly. I highly go against doing a subject to for a long period of time. And the main reason for that is this. Underneath of that situation, that person who still is on title, which is the homeowner, they could have any kind of issue, any kind of problem that could attach to that property that would stop you from doing whatever you need to do to get out of the property. So my approach is to get in, to get out, and move on to the next deal. So that was a great, great question, Jerome. So to answer your question again, subject twos are not legal if you take over them by way of the beneficiary interest as the most common way in which it's done. Next question comes from William. Can I get a copy of your bookmark videos? For those of you who've been on the past Q&A sessions, I have already published the first bookmark video. If you go to my Facebook page at facebook.com Charles Blair 2, that's facebook.com Charles.Blair2, you'll be able to actually get the first video of my 3-part bookmark your REI business system video. The other videos you can also find on my YouTube channel. Part 1 is already published on my YouTube channel as well. So you go there, you'll be able to get access to the videos. Also, if you just leave a comment here today, I'll include the actual link to video number 1. And it's all 100% content on how to bookmark your REI business for success. Question comes from Carlos. Carlos asked, what are the best areas that you like to invest in Baltimore? I like that question because there are several areas that I like to invest in Baltimore. Now, Carlos, I'm not sure if you're referring to Baltimore City or Baltimore County, so I'll go over both. Welcome to the broadcast, Cool. Welcome to the broadcast, Darlene. Milton, once again, thank you guys for being on the broadcast. Shayna, welcome to the broadcast. Make sure you heart it up, like it up if you like the content. I got some great information for you guys for over the next 45, 50 minutes. Remember, when we do these REI Q&A sessions, it's 1 whole hour digging deep into the mind of the mad scientist. I'm going to give you guys all I got, and that it's just basically here for your consumption, 100% all content. Now, the question was, what are the best areas that you like to invest in Baltimore? Some of my areas that I love are, I'm going to give you by way of zip codes. 21214, 21206, 21207, 21229, 21144, 21228, 21234, 21206. These are some of the great areas that I love to invest in Baltimore. As a matter of fact, you can pretty much do wholesaling in these areas, rehabbing in these areas, and buy and holding in these areas, as well as, of course, tenant placement and owner structured financing. So these are some of my favorite areas. You can't go wrong when you're in those areas when it comes to what we call the bread and butter neighborhood. As an investor who's been in the business for 30 plus years, if you give me an address in those areas, 9 times out of 10, city, zip code, I can pretty much tell you what the comps are. So that's why I like those areas, because a lot of my deals that I've done over the years, my 30 plus years in the business, have been in those zip codes and are still in those zip codes. A lot of my mastermind students are investing in those zip codes, and we're making lots of money in those zip codes. So I love those zip codes for Baltimore City, Baltimore County. Right, in properties, welcome to the broadcast. You are tuning in from Instagram. Remember, guys, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to type them in the comment section below. Jeffrey from Buffalo, New York. Welcome to the broadcast, my good friend. Let's see who else we got out there. Kathy, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for being on the broadcast. Now, question number 4. Wow, we're at question number 4 already. And the question is from Kimmy. Kimmy asks, as a new investor who's just starting out, should I get my real estate license? Very good question. Now, the question you got to ask yourself is, 1, what's the advantage of getting it? And what's the disadvantage of getting it? Well, to me, there's no disadvantage of getting it other than the fact that you have to disclose that you are a licensed real estate professional. You have to disclose that in your transactions that you're dealing with if you're wearing on one of the other hats. Another disadvantage is you can't wear both hats in a transaction. So you have to decide when you come across a lead if you're going to wear the real estate investing hat or if you're going to wear the real estate agent hat. Another disadvantage could be how your actual brokerage feels about you being an investor. Not all real estate brokerages like their agents to be investors. So besides that, there's a lot of upside to getting that license. And one of the main one is having access to the MLS. You actually have access to all the tools and resources that you're going to need when it comes to generating leads, when it comes to getting comps, when it comes to all the aspects that we're dealing with and actual finding out about deals and the details you need to know about these deals. They're going to be at your fingertips by way of MLS licensing and having access to the comps. My beautiful wife, Tammy Blair, is on the broadcast, who is at the emergency room in Sinai Hospital. And I'm saying it real low because she may be not supposed to be on the broadcast. Thank you, my beautiful, beautiful wife. Now, going back to that question, I definitely think having your license is an advantage. It's something that you should do if you have it in the opportunity to do so. There's no downside on it other than what I just mentioned, which is very minimal. Not to mention, you could also use that license as a way to barter in the actual transaction by giving up your commission as part of the transaction, or giving up your ability to do the closing or buy the property in your license and allow that other person to actually have both sides of the actual transition. So that's a great way in which you can actually generate more income for your business. So, Gwen Daniels, welcome to the broadcast. We appreciate you guys for spending the time with me this Saturday, and we will continue down the path of your questions. Don't forget, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section below. I will be answering your questions for the whole entire hour, all the way up until 10 a.m. We have everybody out there today. I think we have Kevin on the broadcast. We got Jeff on the broadcast. Thank you. John on the broadcast from Instagram. On Twitch, we got Michael. We got Carlos. We got Greg. Let's see. On YouTube, we have Princess, we have Darian. Thank you guys for being on the broadcast. Kevin Davis said, good information as always. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. Kevin has one of the best meetup groups in the Maryland, D.C., Virginia region. So definitely check out his meetup group, guys, if you get an opportunity. Okay. Next question comes from Francisco. Francisco asks, can you recommend some, actually, this is the question that come up about meetup groups. Can you recommend some good meetup groups to join? Yes, one of which is Kevin Davis Meetup Group. So look that up. I'm not sure. Kevin, make sure you put the name of your meetup group in the actual comment section, man. Let everybody know the name of it. I like BWI Meetup. That's a fantastic meetup group. My guy, Bill Ames, runs that meetup group. I also like Baltimore REI Meetup Group. Joe DiMaggio runs that meetup group. It's another good, actually it's a REI that also has a meetup group. Great information. I like let's see, Real Estate Investing Mastermind Meetup Group by Chuck Seark. That group is out of Lancaster, PA. Chuck has a fantastic meetup. My man of Zach Weist from PA Deals has another great meetup. Nicole and James from Passive Cash Flow for Life. That's another great meetup if you're into multifamily investing. Fantastic meetup. Kevin Davis meetup is by Baltimore. Definitely check them out as well. My guy, Michael Fitzgerald, has a meetup. I believe that's in Southern Maryland. So there's a bunch of great meetups out there in this region, Maryland, D.C., Virginia. So he has some fantastic opportunities for you guys. The meetup is just a great opportunity for you to network and be important. And what I mean by be important at that meetup is to make yourself important. You got to go there with the mindset of, I'm going to go ahead and get deals and make myself known to the environment. I'm going to make myself known to all these individuals that I'm out here looking, hustling. I have opportunities. I have deals. I'm looking for deals. If you want to work with me, hit me up. Hit me up. Aaron Bucker, welcome to the broadcast, my friend. You guys, Tiara, welcome to the broadcast, who's now tuning in from Facebook as well. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the comment section. We will be covering all your questions. And as I always say, do you know real estate like I do? Yes. Let's make it happen. Now, question from Jonathan. What do you think about Zapier? Now, I know where Jonathan come up with that question from. Over the weekend, I was talking about all the different automation platforms that are out there, and one of my favorite ones is Zapier. Zapier is a great platform to handle a lot of different automation that you can do in your real estate business, or actually any business. And we're talking about automation. We're talking about automating tasks like auto posting to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and so on. Generating leads from doing different campaigns with Active Campaign. Generating leads from Aweber. Generating leads from Meetup. So it's a great tool that you can implement in your business. It's called Zapier, Zapier at Zapier.com. I love it. It's the basic, or should I say the mid-range subscription is $24 a month. They actually offer a free subscription as well, but take advantage of it if you guys are looking for some automation triggers that you can use in your real estate investing business. Now, the next question I have for you. Can you dig it? I know you can. So, next question comes from Mika, and Mika asks, I have my first rental closing. Congratulations. On Tuesday. I'm trying to decide if I should work with Section 8 or not. And I know where that question comes from, because there is a lot of individuals out there passing myths about Section 8 tenants being the worst tenants that you can have. Now, speaking to someone who've owned over 300 units when it comes to rental properties, that is by far one of the biggest myths in our industry. Not only can Section 8 tenants mess up your property, but regular market rate tenants can mess up your property. And the majority of the time, the reason why your property, or should I say your property, gets destroyed is you, as that, I'm going to say it again. You, as that landlord, didn't do what you were supposed to do.
You can't handle the truth.
Can you handle it? That is the truth. If you do what you're supposed to do in managing and acquiring and actually controlling that property, you won't have the issues that the myth has perpetuated. The fact that you are going to be destroyed in your property with Section 8 tenants. No, you won't. Here's some things you need to do prior to putting that tenant in your property. You have to do a background check, sex offender check, I already said that. You have to do income verification. You have to take care and make sure you do an actual property visit of where that person currently living at. You want to do a landlord verification. You want to also make sure the person is in good standing with Section 8, have their voucher. All these things you want to have in place, but most importantly, you want to add quarterly inspections to your lease. Because the biggest reason major issues occur is because of deferred maintenance. Issues that come out or come up that the landlord doesn't know about. And because that landlord waits every year to come out once a year, the small issue is now a major issue. So no, Section 8 tenants is not any worse than a regular market rate tenant. It's you, Mr. Landlord, that need to know how to manage and how to acquire your tenants. Great question, Mika. And congratulations again on closing your first rental property. Now, Princess asks, the question is, I got an on-current website for my wholesaling business. Do I get traffic to it, or how do I get traffic to it? First and foremost, Princess, having a website alone will not get you traffic. There's two types of traffic, paid and organic. Now, paid traffic comes from pay-per-click marketing, Facebook ad campaigns, and so on, driving people to your actual website. That's one way to get traffic. That's the reason why they call it paid traffic, because you're paying for individuals to come to your website. Now this is a matter of the return or investment based on the cost it costs per click. Now, organic means optimizing your website. So you have to do things to your site in order to optimize it. Keywords, metadata, tags, your actual content, all these things, your images, need to be optimized so that it can rank. And the key is ranking. So when you're dealing with organic, you're talking about ranking that site on the first page of Google. Just by having a website alone won't do it. And it's not an easy task to get your website ranked to the first page. And here's the numbers that really matter. Out of 10 people, 3 of them will go to the first 3 companies they find on the first page of Google. Out of the remaining 7, 4 will go to the next 6. 1 will go to the final one. Anything remaining will go to the actual ads. So out of those 10 individuals, only 1 of them is doing business when they click on the ads on the side. You know what I'm talking about, the pay-per-click ads. The company, or should I say the websites that are generating the most traffic and making the most money, need to show up on the first page in first, second, and third position. Now, I'm not saying that 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is not going to get traffic. It is. It is going to get traffic, and it is going to get some business. But most people will not go past page 1 on the search results. Most people just don't do it. And most people, when they do a search for a business, they will do business with that company they find during that search. So it's for your advantage to show up 1, 2, and 3, but you have to do it by way of optimizing with search engine optimization. You can't just buy the website and it will automatically show up. There's a lot that has to be done. Those are the 2 ways in which it will happen. Great question, Micah. Thank you very much. Next question. Jonathan asked 2 questions. Okay. What is tenant placement in boarding houses? Okay. That's a good one because I love both of those different strategies. Both of those different strategies can be extremely profitable for you in your real estate business. So I definitely think that if you're looking at different strategies outside of the norm, you're looking for a real strategy that can give you generation cash in your pocket that can be generated month after month after month, tenant placement and guaranteed rent for boarding houses could be a great way to go. So let's break down what are both of those. Okay. But before I break them down, let me get some hearts. Let me get some likes. You like this information? You guys are digging this information? Like it up. Heart it up. It's Blaze. I know it is. Come on. Let me see some hearts. Let me see some likes. Put it out there. Get those questions answered. Make sure you leave those comments below. Once again, today is Mr. T, my son's birthday. I'm giving him big happy birthday to him. 12 years old today. Thank you. Now, what I want you to understand that doing tenant placement is nothing more than flipping tenants. You know how we talk about wholesaling is taking a property, putting it on control, and then selling your actual use of that contract or the actual execution of that contract to an end buyer. That's wholesaling. Tenant placement is working with an owner, putting the property under control, and finding that owner a tenant so that that owner can now have a qualified tenant in their property. You get paid when you find them a tenant, and the tenant is qualified and makes the first payment. Then you get the first payment as your fee. Either the first month's rent, whatever that dollar amount is, as your fee. So if the tenant is paying $1,500, then your fee for tenant placement, is $1,500. It's that simple. You're actually finding a qualified tenant for a landlord, and you're placing that tenant with that landlord so that the tenant can rent the property. That's tenant placement. Now, as far as boarding houses go, for my business and the way we do boarding houses is we run the boarding house through our guaranteed rent program. So what is our guaranteed rent program? It's a program that we do that we take over properties, guarantee a specific amount of rent to the landlord. And then with that specific amount of rent, we then change the use of that property so that we can generate more income. So for example, if we're guaranteeing the rent to the landlord is $900, that means that we're going to now take that property and rent it out as rooms for $2,200 or upwards to $3,500. You can get anywhere between $250, $300 per room. That's right. $250, $300 per room. I even know individuals who get $500 per month per room. So think about the revenue there. 7 rooms, $500. Do the math. That's $3,500 a month on a property that you had or that you took over that you're only paying $900 out. And of course you have to pay gas and electric as well. But man, boarding houses could be a great way to generate income quickly because you don't have to do ownership. You're just controlling the property by way of a lease with a right to sublease, master leasing the property out. So I love both of those strategies. I think there's great strategies for new investors to get into. The key is you have to be very vigilant in knowing all the details about a strategy. Marketing is key for both of those strategies, whether it's tenant placement or doing a boarding house. Brian, my man, I'm surprised you're not out doing any rehabs right now, my friend. But Brian is my man when it comes to where it is, NBC, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Maryland. Brian is killing it on the construction side. Take care, my man. So, I hope that answered your question. And let's get to the next question, which comes from Cliff. As we are looking at the time, we have about 25 minutes left. Don't forget, guys, this is your opportunity to get your questions answered. Kevin, thank you for still being on the broadcast. Jeff, thank you. Shayna, thank you. Princess, thank you for still being on the broadcast. Cool. Thank you for being on the broadcast on Instagram. Carlos, again, thank you for being on Twitch. Michelle, thank you for being on Twitch. Reggie for Twitch. I appreciate all you guys being on the broadcast. My man from Buffalo, New York, Ern, thank you for being on the broadcast as well. Next question comes from Cliff, who says, what direction should I go if you're just getting started? Now, Cliff, I think you're asking as far as if you're just getting started in real estate investing. There's a lot of directions you can go because there's a lot of different strategies out there. You got wholesaling, you got rehabbing, you got buying and holding investment, you got tenant placement, you got owner structured financing, you got rent to own, you got guaranteed rent. So there's a lot of strategies out there that you could get into. But let's stick with the main three: wholesaling, buying and holding, and renting. The key to you choosing that strategy, and I've said this many a times and I'll still say it to this day, is you have to pick the strategy that best suits your current situation. This is what I would start off with. And here's the reason why I say this. One, if you need quick cash, why would you do rehabbing? Why would you do buy and holding investing? If you have bills, money that you need money right away, as quickly as you possibly can, you shouldn't be messing with those other two strategies. You should be doing the strategy that's going to get you quick cash as quickly as possible. That's wholesaling. If you're looking for large lump sums of income that you're willing to wait for, then you're looking at rehabbing. And if you're looking for passive income, generational wealth, income that can last year after year after year, now you're talking about buying and holding. So the answer to that question revolves around, what do you need real estate investing to do for you in your current situation? And I'll preface that by saying financial situation. Depending on what that looks like, that's going to be your answer. I hope that answers the question. I know it was straight to the point, but really the answer is straight to the point. You just need to choose a strategy that can best do what you need it to do for you based on your current financial situation. Is that quickly? Mark, my brother from another mother. Welcome to the broadcast, my friend. Thank you for being on the broadcast. Princess asked another question on rentals. I just got my license in the last week of April, and I heard that rentals are a good way to start. Question: how do you get clients' inventory of landlords and tenants? How do you get a client inventory of landlords and tenants? I guess that's a marketing question, asking me how do you get more tenants and more landlords. There's a lot of strategies that we use. The question is, if we're talking about on-market or off-market tenants. So for some of the strategies that we use GoSection8.com. It's a great way to get tenants that's on subsidized housing programs. We also use Craigslist and all the directory websites to get tenants. The number one site you're going to use to get tenants, right by far, is going to be Craigslist. Nothing has kicked Craigslist off the top as regards to getting tenants. Now, after that, if we're talking about subsidized housing, we like GoSection8 tenants, GoSection8 website. As far as landlords, I like going to GoSection8 for landlords. I like going to Craigslist for landlords. I like going to my Facebook groups for landlords. I like going to meetup groups. I like going to REIA meetings. All these different places will post our actual need set, looking to see if anybody wants to work with our company, whether it's tenant placement or property management, or we're looking for deals. I also love going to the courthouse for people or landlords that are evicting tenants. That's another great way to get actual properties that needs management and so on. So those are the ways in which we love getting landlords and we love getting tenants. On average, we're doing somewhere around 8 to 12 rentals per month. And we're talking about through the tenant placement, which means we're generating leads for landlords and we're generating leads for tenants. And it all comes from, like I just mentioned, those marketing strategies, as well as Craigslist postings as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And hello from New York, Aaron. Welcome to the broadcast. If you guys want to get a copy of my bookmark REI Success video series, I have video number 1 has already been published, and the link I will include below when we get off the broadcast. I will definitely put the link below. All I ask is just ask a question below or put your information below that's saying you want a copy of my bookmark REI video series. It will be 3-part video. Video 1 is already published on YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel, you'll see it, or I can provide you with the link below. Great question, Cliff. Dan asks, how much money do I need to get started in real estate investing? Now, Dan, that question depends on a couple of things. One, like the previous question, what is the strategy of choice that you want to do? Because there's a lot of different strategies out there, and each strategy has a different price point of involvement. For example, if wholesaling is what you're doing, or what we call house hunting, then you could literally get involved with that strategy with very little money of your own. And what I mean by that is this, that some of the strategies that you can execute inside of wholesaling, like driving for dollars, like cold calling through different resources, directory resources, all these strategies just require time and money for gas and so on. So you don't really need a lot of money to get started in that strategy of wholesaling. So you have to decide which strategy you're going to do. For example, rehabbing. Now we're talking about a strategy that needs money, but it doesn't necessarily need your money, because in that strategy, you're going to need a lender to lend you money to buy the property that you're going to rehab. Now, that lender could be traditional bank financing. That lender could be a regular hard money lender. That lender could be a private lender. Now, you could also use your own money, but you're going to require to actually be qualified in order to get the loans to do the actual rehab. Sometimes it requires X amount of money up front. Some of them will only give you 100% of the rehab cost, but only 80 or 90% of the purchase price. So now you have to come up with that extra 10% or 20%. That's money that's got to come out of your pocket or somebody else's pocket. So going back to your question is, how much money do you need to get started in this business? I'm going to have to defer to the answer that depends. And like I said, the reason why I'm deferring to that answer is because it all depends on the strategy that you want to use or do as your main strategy or focus. Now, for those of you who don't know, I don't believe in just knowing one thing. I don't believe in just knowing how to do wholesaling or knowing how to do rehabbing. My mentor taught me years ago, Jack Miller, Peter Fortunato, Jack Shea, Jimmy Napier. My mentors taught me that you need to be a transaction engineer, not a one-trick pony. You need to have the ability to take any kind of deal, whether it's a wholesale deal, rehab deal, buy and hold deal, and make money off of it. So I'm not telling you to master all the strategies, but what I am telling you is trying to figure out how you can create revenue from the strategies that don't fit your main knowledge of expertise. That's what's called being a transaction engineer. Yolanda asks, what are the best ways to find real estate deals? Direct mail, yada, 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 yada. Now, depending on where you want to find these deals is going to give me that answer. Mickey, welcome to the broadcast. Carlos, welcome to the broadcast again on Twitch. Joanne, Jennifer, we got Writing Properties. We got Cool on Instagram. We have Clifton Barris on Facebook. We have Kevin on Facebook. Thank you guys for the questions. You are really making this a real detailed answered based Q&A session. Now, Yolanda's question once again was, where are the best places you can go to find real estate deals? First thing first, real estate deals aren't found, they are made. Let me tell you that. That's something my mentor taught me years ago as well. So what do I mean by that? Most people can recognize the average deal, a wholesale or rehab. It takes a special investor to create a deal out of nothing. Now, going back to the spirit of your question, which is all about marketing, where or what marketing strategies are producing. You can find deals from door knocking. You can find deals from direct mail, cold calling. You can find deals from pay-per-click marketing. You can find deals from retargeting online. You can find deals from Facebook ads, Craigslist marketing, Craigslist scraping, directory scraping. There's a whole plethora of places where you can find deals. Finding the deals may not be the hardest part. The key is, what strategies are you executing that are producing right now? But finding the deals isn't going to be the issue, in my opinion. The issue is going to be understanding and analyzing what's a good deal. Understanding how to close that deal. That's where most people have a hiccup. Because I know people that get a boatload of leads because they're doing a lot of different marketing, a lot of different strategies. But because of their weakness in negotiations, because of their weakness in having all of their eggs in one basket, such as wholesaler, buy and hold investor, they're not able to close the amount of deals in proportion to the amount of leads that they're getting. So that's the thing that you really have to concentrate on. It's not all about what marketing strategies are you doing to get leads. It's what's happening once the leads come through. So let me give you guys my favorite quote of the day. Remember, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask those questions here in the platform. We have 15 minutes remaining. That gives me a chance for at least another 5, 10, 15 questions. Great. So, my quote of the day is this. It's this one right here. Leave your excuses behind. I'm going to say it again. Leave your excuses at the door. Nobody wants to hear them. No one wants to hear your excuses. So leave them at the door. This business is all about doing it, not complaining about it. Just do it. Don't complain about it. I know many of investors who suffer from analysis paralysis. They're looking for the perfect deal, the perfect opportunity. Where can I find it? I think I got the perfect deal here. There is no such thing as the perfect deal. It doesn't exist. So keep that in mind. Aaron asks, I'm new to your page and real estate investing. Interested in knowing if you provide a coaching program. Aaron, I don't provide coaching. I do provide a mastermind, which is a combination of one-on-one coaching, mentoring, and a mastermind all rolled into one. And you can head on over to moremastermind.com to find out more about that program. Now, we have 10 minutes remaining, and the next question comes into play of, why do I need to be a licensed investor to do real estate? There's no such thing as a licensed investor, first thing first. I'm not sure what you mean by a licensed investor. And I'm not sure where you get that assumption that you have to be licensed to be an investor. You don't. What you have to be licensed to is to be a real estate agent. And if that's the case, then yes, you do have to be licensed through the city or state of your choice in which you are planning on practicing real estate as an agent. But you do not have to have a license to do wholesaling. You don't have to have a license to do rehabbing. Now, there are licenses required in buying and holding, but that's only if you plan on doing rental properties. You have to have your property registered, and in some cases, you have to have your property licensed to do rentals. And of course, your property have to be already zoned for rentals as well, able to do a rental in it as well. So besides that, there's not a license required to be a real estate investor. Great question. Thank you very much. Now, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in to today's Q&A session. We are coming fast approaching the hour note for you to say goodbye. So if you have any more further questions, now is the time to leave them in the comment section below. Thank you, Michelle, for being on the actual broadcast. Mark, thank you for being on the broadcast. Brian, thank you. Brian, Kevin, thank you. I appreciate it. Jeff, Tammy, Gwen, thank you. Tiara, thank you. Shayna, thank you. Cool, thank you. Righteous Properties, thank you for being on the broadcast. I want to tell you guys to go out today and enjoy life. It's too short to not to enjoy. This is Charles Blair, the Mad Scientist. I look forward to seeing you on the next Q&A session. Take care, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.